The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Tokusatsu, what the fuck ever. Anyways, it's Fuuto Pi time, that's Jay.
You guys remember that time Roy Harper did drugs made out of dead kids?
Which time?
The second time.
I was hoping the time that he made him into crack, but whatever.
No. That was the third time. That was the time he started strangling a dead cat. This was the second time when he got sold crack made from dead kids by Vandal Savage, and for no particular reason at all, he just kept smoking it after knowing that because he's a fucking addict.
This is a
comic books.
It's a normal Tuesday afternoon, Detroit. That's Chad.
Insert creative one-liner here that actually relates to the thing that we are about to talk about or review here. I got nothing, guys. It's good to be back.
Yeah, and that's Phil. Anyways,
Why
back to
they
Fuuto
change
Pi.
Philip's hair to green?
Because I don't know.
So they would have a variant to sell figures of, I guess. I don't know.
You know what's weird about that, though? I know we're jumping the gun a bit, but you know what's weird about that, though? Is that I thought it was going to be a thing where, Philip just got into dyeing his hair because the bottom of his hair is still brown. No, when he was a kid, it's still green. So I was like, oh, I guess that's fucking out of the window. He really does just have green hair now.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of weird.
Blame Sanjo. It's his baby.
Maybe that's what Sanjo wanted, and Toei was just like, dude, that's fucking weird.
Oh, this is Riku Sanjo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else would it be, Phil?
So, yeah. Anyways, we're obviously here to talk about Kamen Rider Gaiden the Special. And
yes. I really liked the part where Hase became a fucking Force Ghost. It was fucking great.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Dude, one of these days we're gonna have to do like a commentary or something on that fucking shit, 'cause that's fucking hilarious. So, as we're saying, we are here talking about Fuuto Pi. Now, what is Fuuto Pi? Quite simply, it is the sequel to Kamen Rider W, but in anime form. So all you fucking weeps can stop bitching about the suits, even though you're still gonna be bitch, because you're sluts. Anyway, so yes, Fuuto Pi is the follow-up to Kamen Rider W, and what a follow-up it is. So, should we, just for the sake of rubbing it in people's faces, talk about our first exposure to this show, guys?
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Hell
I
yeah.
believe we should.
Phil, you were not there. Do not comment, okay?
Exactly. Just get the fuck out.
Just leave. You're done.
Just leave. Just go home.
You're fine.
You are home.
You son of a bitch!
Okay, Phil, go outside, walk around the block, then go home.
I don't want to go out!
You know what? Do the thing that every Tokusatsu fan deems impossible, but I have still done the impossible. Go find grass and go touch grass.
He lives in New York. They don't have grass.
Not necessarily.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Anyways.
Make me, bitch.
So, let's talk about our first exposure to this, because again, just a flex. So, Chad, Jay,
we can talk more about it, because now that we're not under gag order, because the episodes are out now, we can actually go more into detail.
Titties!
So, as we mentioned when we were at Anime Expo, they had the Rider panel, and
fuck yeah, they did.
They, as a special bonus, showed not one, but the first 2 episodes of the show. And I mean, honestly, we kind of said everything there was about the actual experience in that episode, but in a big crowded room, seeing this first time with like something like 800 people, it was legitimately life-changing. It changed
magic.
The entire experience of watching the show, honestly.
It was magic. It was legit magic. It's like, again, the best way I can say it, because I know this is the way I can say it, it's like going to a fucking wrestling show, dude. Like a legit hot crowd for a wrestling show. It's like everybody's into it. Everybody's having fun. It's like, wow, this is fucking great. And then, of course, you have the moments where people are marking out, people are going, sheesh, And the fucking mark out moment for the animation, the first transformation scene, like it's fantastic. It was all fantastic.
And then you
Not
guys
to
called
mention-
me about it.
Not to mention everybody doing the catchphrase in sync when they did the catchphrase in the show with no prompting at all.
God, that's still like sends shivers down my spine when I think about it, because it was like that. It was one of those moments, dude. It's one of those moments where it's like, that's never gonna happen again, and we were there to see it.
And I'm so mad that that's not on recording, because that's one of those things that, like, you can hear us describe it. You can hear me talk about it, because I've talked about it to fucking everybody I can get a chance to. But actually seeing it and actually hearing it is different. And then actually being there is on a whole nother level.
Dude, the decibel point in that fucking room, dude, it was peaking. Like, my ears were ringing with how loud people were in that fucking room.
Dude, it was insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that entire convention was loud as shit, but that moment was probably the loudest of the entire convention.
Dude, I still remember when Chad was saying, like, he had, like, shakes. He was shaking.
Yeah,
after
like,
that fucking
literally,
shit.
like, I never usually cheer for, like, a movie or, like, any theatrical experience, but, like, this is, like, probably one of the few moments where, like, it got an audible gasp, audible scream, got audible Japanese screaming out of me.
Just reaction in general.
Reaction in general, yeah.
That was the best part, too, is hearing Chad, like exclaim, like, just screech in glee in full Japanese. It was just like, it was kind of just like the perfect little bit of sprinkles on top of, like, this is what it would be like if we were over in Japan. It's that kind of nice little extra bit on the experience, and I'm sure anybody who heard that too was probably feeling the same way.
Oh yeah.
Not to be
excited.
weird and fetishize Chad or anything like that, but
I'll do that. No, but no, like, honestly, it almost makes me wish, like, I hope we get a chance to do something like that again someday. I don't know, maybe season 2, if there is a season 2. I hope we get to do that again, because that was just so much fun. It was so much fun.
I know at New York Comic Con they did the finale, which, I mean, I'm going to put this one out there. Much worse experience to have a live audience for. Let's be real. But, honestly, I'm kind of excited for what they do next in that kind of regard. Like, it's going to be interesting if they ever do that again.
I'll be there. Fuck it.
Oh, me too. I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there.
So,
well, you have to be to the next convention first before you can agree to being the one after that, Phil.
Exactly.
You do.
Anyway,
you
so
do realize I was sick during New York.
Shut up, Phil. Anyways, so with that being said, let's get right into the actual show. We've splurged enough about our experiences. Let's get into the actual show.
Right.
And I don't know how we're going to do this, because you already know these fucking characters. You know who they are. But you know what? Just to be nice, let's talk about the characters, shall we? Let's talk about, first off, the best guy in this entire fucking show, Shotaro, because he's always going to be the fucking best boy. I fucking love this guy. He's still great.
So, AJ kind of put it best. If you've seen Double, you already know who everybody is. It's the same writer as Double, Riku Sanjo. So it's all the characters are completely identical to how they were in the original series. There's definitely a tiny little bit more of an edge to a lot of characters in a lot of moments, just because he's got no censorship that he has to worry about, more or less. But otherwise, the characters are pretty much identical in every single facet. So Shotaro is still the well-meaning, bumbling, wannabe hard-boiled detective.
Half-boiled.
Philip is still the insufferable
know-it-all.
I was trying to think of a not offensive word.
Mad scientist?
Yeah, the insufferable mad scientist know-it-all.
The insufferable
Akiko
twink.
is still the shrieking beast woman who runs the place. Teruri is still an insane cop. Everybody is exactly the same as how they were in the original series. There is no significant changes to how they act based on the new format and based on the new demographic it's going for. There's no changes to really anything at all. Like, if you've been following along with Double since the original series, like, if you've seen at bare minimum like the V Cinemas or the Movie Wars and stuff like that, you basically know everything you need to know. Nothing is different.
Now, Jay, you say nothing's different. I can point to you to two very big things that are different in this fucking show.
What?
Well,
actually, no, I can point to you to many big things in this fucking show. Because let's be completely honest, Sanjo is a man after my own heart. He likes himself some Tiddy. And God bless him, he put Tiddy in this fucking show.
Listen,
so
as I have said before, Riku Sanjo is not somebody who should have been allowed to write a children's show.
Oh, boy.
Riku MD Geist Sanjo is probably low on the list of people who should be writing Kamen Rider, but you know what? He's done it 3 times now, and it's been great every single time. And now
Good
that
Lord,
he's...
imagine him drawing a fucking Drive manga.
Oh my god.
You
know what?
Boy.
You know what? It would be a little more difficult to do, but I'd be down for it.
Put Medic in there? Jesus Christ.
You'd have a field day.
Yeah,
Anyways,
so the point that AJ is getting to is that
yeah,
there's a lot of fucking titties in this anime.
So, with that being said, because we're talking about titties, let's talk about the new character they introduced into the show, which is Tokime. Basically, for all intents and purposes, Shoto's love interest.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Her role is both the new audience surrogate in the sense that she doesn't know any of the supernatural Kamen Rider bullshit that's going on, so she's here to have elements of the original show explained for whoever either doesn't remember or decided to start with the sequel like a psychopath. So the plot of the show starts when Shotaro crosses path with some random homeless lady who is Tokime, who has mysterious powers and has no memories, and inadvertently finds himself involved in a case with a mysterious parallel universe version of Fuuto, which she has some connection to. And due to shenanigans, she becomes his assistant, more or less. So, otherwise from there, it's basically Double as you know it, where it's Shotaro and Philip and whoever else tags along get involved with a case which inadvertently involves some dude who's using a Gaia memory to become a dopant. And other than that, it's basically just Double with a new character on the side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, that's the best way.
At least in regards to the anime. I know that obviously the manga, because it goes on much longer, there's differences there. But in regards to the anime, it's basically just Double with a new side protagonist.
I think that's the best way to put this show is exactly as you put it. It's just more Double. You like Double? This is what this is. It's more Double. And
it's
in a way,
Double 2.
In a way, that could be a detriment to some people because they expect, to sequel it to be a bit different. But at the same time, I don't really mind it because it just kind of feels like a natural continuation. I think, I can't remember if it was Jay or Chad who said it when we reviewed it initially, where it feels like no time has passed. Like, you literally could go from the last episode of Double to the first episode of Fuuto Pi, and it's like, oh, yeah, nothing's changed. We're here.
Oh, I literally have. I very recently rewatched Double with a group of friends who have never seen Double, and here I am going through it as I'm watching along Fuuto Pi, and there is very little difference in terms of, at least from the end of the show to the beginning of this, there is very little difference. It is almost identical in terms of every single aspect.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the biggest like positive that I can give to this show, besides the story stuff we'll get into right now, is if you were to take any of these episodes and just remake it with all the live action actors, it fits perfectly.
Pretty much.
Like, it's literally just an episode of Double. And I get it. It's Sanjo still writing it. But it just works. And that's my biggest thing about the show, is that it's just a good show. And I don't really have any gripes with it.
Like, I think overall, I think something really interesting about this is like the initial, I guess the reactions to the show before, versus before it came out, when it, in comparison to after it basically came out. Because, a lot of people back when the show initially wasn't airing, or no, when there were a lot of trailers going on, one of the questions was like, oh yeah, people do know that this is a Kamen Rider anime, right? And it's just they show a lot of double each and every episode, and that's something I do appreciate, just kind of looking back at it, from its initial premise, or the initial announcement.
Yeah, that's one of the things I appreciate, is that much like the original show, double Shotaro, Philip, and Terui transform at least once an episode, and there's at least a fight once an episode, much like the original series, which is good. It's really good that they do that. I mean, with the exception of the very first episode, but I mean that's they did that deliberately. So, with the exception of the very first episode, there's a fight every episode, and there's a transformation pretty much every episode.
And honestly, I mean, that's why, to my point, it feels like honestly the whole show just feels like, again, just Kamen Rider as a show, because it hits all the points, it hits all the tropes, it hits all the cliches. I guess really we just got to talk about. I don't really know where to go from here. Honestly, it's such a. Again, there's no really big bad about the show. It's really just, honestly, guys, if you're listening to this, it's just going to be us splurging about the animation at this point.
Of course,
because the animation of the show is way too fucking.
It really
good.
is very good.
Oh yeah.
For the most part, yeah, it's pretty good. There are definitely a couple points where it gets a little janky. I mean, obviously they skimped on the budget at a couple points, and for the most part, every fight is decently well animated. There's very little jankiness. There's almost zero CG beyond the first episode, honestly. I actually think about it, other than the bike chase in the first 2 episodes, there's no CG at all pretty much in this. Excuse me.
Actually, it's funny you say that.
It is definitely a little janky at points. There's definitely some awkward movements that they try to replicate how it kind of looks in the show, but obviously when you're trying to animate the fluid motions of a real person in a suit, it doesn't quite work. And sometimes when they, because if you obviously Double, where they kind of do the, because it's they here, why am I having trouble explaining how fucking Double moves? Where Double kind of has the thing where he moves each half of his body kind of semi-independently. Like Shotaro will move his arm, differently than Philip will, and stuff like that. And they try their best to replicate that, and then sometimes they'll enhance it more with the fighting style. But for whatever reason, that doesn't work for me in animation.
It can be a bit janky. Honestly, I thought you were going to mention the weird. I mean, let's be honest. It was still a very well animated scene, but there were a couple of frames of jank with the what's their fucking idol's name?
The Kazamatsu Meguri.
Meguri.
I think what?
Meguri.
Yeah, Meguri. Yeah, there we go. Meguri.
Yeah, that scene was it went way too hard, but there were a couple of points there where I was just like, ooh, that's a bit weak. That's a bit wacky.
Yeah. There was a lot of I think a lot of it was due to where added sequences from the manga, where that whole sequence in the manga was just basically one single splash page. There wasn't a whole sequence to that. There wasn't a song or anything. So that was all unique footage, and there were a lot of moments there too where stuff that's different from the manga, weirdly enough, tended to be a little jankier with how it looked. So I don't know if that's deliberate. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or not. But that did pop up from time to time, is that I kind of noticed that comparing the two, where stuff that is unique from the manga tended to be jankier. It's probably a coincidence, but it is weird that it's a majority of the time that's where it pops up.
See, it's weird though, because with most of the show, I think we mentioned this earlier, with most of the show, it's so well animated that I think even those tiny little bits of jankiness stick out just that much more. Because while there are points where there are off-model points, like, you know, you can tell, oh, this is like a wide shot with the characters far away, so obviously they're not going to be very detailed. There are points where, like, they kind of go off a bit wonky, and it's like, you compare that to the scene that just happened right now with Double just beautifully drawn and amazingly animated, and it sticks out a bit more. But I think that's just because, like, by that point you get so spoiled about how well everything else is animated that you're just like, oh, well, that's a shame. That's a bit of a shame.
You get kind of your eyes adjust to the fluidity of it, and then once it takes a break from that, you get hit. It kind of breaks your immersion. Not necessarily immersion in that sense, but that general feeling of it.
It doesn't happen often enough for me to say that it's bad, though. I can't say that. It doesn't happen often enough.
No, I mean, like, other than, like, I don't know, maybe like fucking Gunbuster or stuff that, like, was made by one guy. Like, even the best anime on the planet, even the best animated shows have their moments of jankness.
Exactly. I mean, look, that's the thing. And as we just mentioned, most of the rest of the show, especially the transformation scenes, were all fucking great. Though, I'll be honest, and I know this is a pretty obvious thing, none of the transformation scenes hold a candle to the first one. The first one was just fucking peak.
Oh, yeah. No, like, definitely. I think the first transformation scene, especially... Well, okay, like, to be completely honest, I think for Jay, AJ, and myself especially, there's definitely a lot more bias, mainly because the way we saw it can never be captured again, because that's one hell of a special occasion. But I think especially the way, or rather, I'm actually kind of curious in this case, as someone who actually was not there and also saw it, like, through, like, a home viewing, like, Phil, what was your initial thoughts overall with, like, Fuuto Pi, especially that first transformation? Just after, basically, I want to say, 10-ish years, give or take, of basically not seeing Double, like, be the center of attention again.
To be honest, it was nostalgic. It was really, really nostalgic, and it was good. They built it up. They showed that, you know, like, this is Double. This is his anime, and it was epic. It really was epic. It was just like, it felt like when you first watched you watched Double transform for the first time in the toku, in the live action. It brought a smile to my face. It brought a big smile to my face. Though, I will be honest, I got a bigger excitement when Fang Joker came in. I don't know why. I think it was just the moment.
I will say Fang, I did like the unique spin they did with Fang Joker's transformation, where he started as normal Double and then the spikes kind of burst.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fucking
as
good.
opposed into the original where it's just the spikes are already molded into the suit.
Oh yeah. Honestly, that's just one of the props of animation. Honestly, it's just you can do things like that.
Yeah, and I think that Phil's sentiment is pretty common, because I know I posted the second the episode dropped on Crunchyroll or whatever fucking sites it was, Crunchyroll, whatever they call that site now. I know they've changed the name and it's gone. Yeah, it's still Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that's how I watch it.
Roll Crunch.
I know it's
Roll
owned
Crunchy.
by like 5 different companies in the span of
Funny Roll, Crunchymation, whatever.
All I know is that they're getting.
But yeah, I
$9
know
a month from me.
I posted a clip of that on my blog like the second it came up, and it fucking exploded, and it was all people just like, dude, holy shit. Like, half of it was people like, dude, what is this? It looks sick. And then the other half was, dude, holy shit, it's just as good as the original, and blah blah, you know, like Phil was saying there. It's so sick. It's exactly like I remember it. So honestly, our bias aside, I don't even think that necessarily affected it too much. And just that everybody kind of had that similar reaction to that, just the overall experience and the dedication to matching the original series and the aesthetic.
I think for me though, and this is just me because I was really hyped for it, I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of Extreme. Not gonna lie. Like, the transformation was fine, but I was kind of expecting, like, all right, blow your load ×2 here. And they kind of didn't.
Yeah,
it was fine still, but
they kind of dropped their ball on Extreme, unfortunately.
They half chubbed.
Well, you know what? I'll say it like this. They dropped the ball in his initial transformation, but the last fight with Extreme was actually really fucking amazing.
The new finisher for Extreme was really good.
Holy shit, that was fucking cool, dude.
Wasn't that just like, we saw that in like the final battle with like Utopia Dopon, didn't we, back in the original that move? I
don't recall him doing... I mean, I should know this, I just watched it like 2 weeks ago. I don't think he did the Liu Kang kicking. I think it was just the standard kick.
The original finisher for Extreme is just like, he's just double stomping you. This one he was just like doing the Liu Kang kick, the bicycle kicks. Yeah. So that's slightly different. Then again, that also could just be Studio Kai going like, let's just fucking do it. Who fucking cares? It's fucking awesome. This is fucking cool. Let's just do it. So I like that. All the animation in the show was fantastic. Again, there are little points, but let's be honest, they gotta fucking save money somewhere, guys. It's still anime. You gotta have a budget. You gotta have a budget at the end of this. You don't want them to be stick figures by the end.
Wouldn't be the first time, but
that's. I mean, yeah. But again, I like most of the animation. We kind of strayed off a little bit from the story. So, what do we think of the new villains so far?
So the only real main villain we have so far, they introduced the main villain group, who they aren't named in the show. If I remember correctly, they're called Street in the manga.
They're called Street.
They're basically dopant supremacists, where they're highly evolved dopants. They introduced this new concept called high dopes, which are basically like people who are so in tune with their memories and their dopant side that they have ascended beyond a normal human. Like kind of like the Sonozakis were, where they were so in tune with their memories and they were so powered up with them that they were beyond normal memory users. Mm-hmm. So they're like a bunch of supremacists who are trying to build like a secret society or like a new race. But basically, they've constructed a parallel universe version of Fuuto for reasons. And they're living there as like a race of dopant supremacists. So generally speaking, it's the still basic concept of Double, where it's Criminal of the Week has obtained a Gaia memory for reasons specific to them. But instead of the Sonozaki selling them because drugs are bad, it's the main villain, Bondo.
Racism is bad.
Yeah. He's giving out memories to people that he feels are potential candidates for his secret society. And so him giving them memories is basically a way to test their abilities. Which I think is an interesting angle to go with it, to keep the general format of Criminal of the Week has gotten superpowers. Why do they have it, and how do we stop them? Mm-hmm. While also tying in with a new plot that isn't just, oh, the museum is back again. Oh, there's a new group selling memories again. Oh, I was about to say, oh, it's Foundation X again, but it kind of is Foundation X.
See, that's the weird thing, is that, well, that's the weird thing. I might have misread this, but it basically, it's not that they're so much part of Foundation X as they more just kind of bankrolled them, I guess.
The specific word the subs used were, what did they say?
Parent company, no?
Parent company, yes. They referred to Bondo. He was their head. So they dump what little of his backstory they wanted to dump in the last episode, where he was running a corporation that was a parent company of Foundation X, which I guess would make him a part of Foundation X. And then, but that's all we learn up to when the anime ends. Obviously, it goes into more detail of that, I assume, in the manga. I haven't gotten that far.
You know what? I feel stupid for leaving this out as of now. Just so you guys know, because I know you probably don't, or maybe you do. This show is still technically left on a cliffhanger. We don't know how it ends because it's only 12 episodes, and as far as we know, or as far as we hope, this is just season 1. So The story's not over. Let's just say this is season 1, just to be, simple
I actually
about
have
it.
a note on the ending, and I thought it. I know that it's supposed to be left on a cliffhanger, but I actually find it a little clever where they leave it off on how Shotaro is going to tell Tokime about what happened on Beginning's End, and I actually like that.
It's Begins Night, Phil.
Can't fucking, but he just watched this, people. Like literally 30 minutes ago.
Right,
just watched this.
End.
Begins Night.
Oh my god!
Hey!
You did it twice!
All right. So, what I like what they did with Begins Night, there I said it right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Where they actually didn't
good
show
boy.
what happened. And it could be kind of a little nod saying, hey, if you really want to know and you can't wait for season 2, go watch the Tokusatsu series.
Well, that's the fucking thing. They did show us what happens in Begins Night. They showed it in episode 1.
They kind of did, yeah.
Well,
Kind of.
I think. Well, here's the thing, because I actually did a bit of research on this. Actually, I looked through the manga. Basically, at the end of the after the reactor case. So yes, actually, if you guys, should I go into manga spoilers or does it really matter? Or
I know what you're going to say, but I don't necessarily care whether you say it one or not.
I'm just gonna give a general summary.
A general summary would be fine.
I was gonna say, if I'll say it like this, because let's be honest, this is a spoiler podcast, anyways.
Yeah.
If you don't care about manga spoilers, stick around. If you don't, I'll put a timestamp in the description to tell you when to skip through. So, Chad, go loose.
Okay, looks like I'm breaking through.
What if I don't want spoilers?
Well, you're
Plug your ears.
Plug my ears.
Well, okay, I'm just gonna give
Then
a
suffer.
general. I'm gonna give
Just
a
say
general
it.
a general summary. Okay. So basically, after this whole thing, they do go into backstory. Instead of actually going from the actual Begins Night of where you see from the Decade and Double movie, the thing you'll find here is that literally everything that is basically to do with Double is actually more or less canon. So literally this actually picks up from when Shotaro actually met Narumi Sokichi back in the movie War Corps. And literally that's the aftermath of that case, and then how he basically takes in Shotaro, and then then you eventually go into Begins Night with more backstory with Skull. And, so basically, initially, they do actually start from the beginning, more or less. Well, then again, you can also say it cleverly circles around to, oh yeah, if you, she wants to know more about Double and Begins Night, and well, you just gotta watch episode 1's prologue, or something like that. Or go watch the show, which still hasn't legally been released yet, but hey, that hasn't stopped any of us, right? But but yeah, initially that's where, if we were to get a quote-unquote season 2, in which I hope we do, I believe that's initially where it would pick up, kind of going forward from there.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of the things where I have no idea what happens in the manga except for big titty cowgirls. I don't know anything else that happens. But from what I was told by Chad and Jay, I mean, we're probably going to be doing the thing that we did in this season, only 10 times more, where we're going to skip some cases. Because if I remember, Chad told me, didn't the manga just finish beating, one of the generals?
Yeah, or we already finished Reactor, which was the one of the big generals. I believe, just as of right now, they still haven't killed anyone off, surprisingly. I don't know yet. But,
well, they haven't killed any villains
honestly,
off.
the manga's really been taking its sweet time, from what I've seen.
That's kind of strange.
Last I checked in on the manga, well, since we're still in the manga spoiler section, your boy Terui fucking bit the dust.
Again.
It's again, yeah, but I'm sure he's gonna come back.
Dude, that fucker's insurance premiums must be through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
You know what? At the same, I can't. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Japanese Twitter with the manga is freaking
Dude,
great.
honestly, chill with that.
I remember when the chapter came out, and they were just like, nobody bought it. Nobody was like, everybody was making jokes about it. He's like, he fell. I think somebody literally said he just fell down again.
It's like, oh no, Terui tripped. Someone pick him up again.
It's like, guys, we've seen the Drive crossover. We know he's not fucking dead.
Yeah, we know he hasn't put a fucking baby into Akiko yet.
That's kind of weird when you think about it.
At that point.
Well, I was gonna say that's kind of weird when you think about it. The Drive crossover is just a huge fucking spoiler for this because we know that Teryu's not gonna fucking die. Because
we know he's not gonna die because he's fucking Ryu Terui. He's too popular.
Well, not just that, but it's just like as long as he's not put fucking batter in the oven, he's not gonna die. So it's like until Akiko gets a baby bump, he's safe. So it's like, man, that I know hindsight is 20/20, but fucking hell, Riku, you should have seen this coming. Like no one's gonna buy that he's dead. Oh well, you know what though, Jay? We
know, yeah, like Riku continuity whore Sanjo is not going to create a continuity error in his own manga with the content he also wrote. I severely doubt he's going to be like alternate universe lol.
I was going to say, well, we know that Axel's alive. We don't know shit about Philip or Shotaro.
That is, you know what? Well,
we don't.
I don't know if he considers Heisei vs. Showa canon, and I kind of hope he doesn't because it's dog shit. But
well, see, it wouldn't matter because that happens before the Drive special.
Yeah, I guess it does. Oh yeah, that's right, it did, didn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
So he could still fucking bite it.
Well, okay. Let me think, because he was in. No, they didn't mention Double in Zio. He was in the Revice mystery special, and then I'm pretty sure Terui would have said something about Double being dead to George, considering he's the writer nerd. But yeah, I mean, if we're considering up to Revice's appearance of Terui canon, then yeah, I don't think Shotaro at the very least is gonna die again, or at all. I don't think, he's the only one who hasn't died out of the Double.
Well, I was gonna say because like I was gonna say we could just count anything that Sanjo's written. So if we're counting that, then the last thing would be the Drive special.
Yeah. Or, like, if anything, another point that we can also make is just, like, anything done by Sakamoto, because we also know that man's also just, like, a giant continuity whore as well. Mm-hmm. Man loves his continuity. So, like, either anything done by possibly Sakamoto if we really want to stretch it, but definitely anything done by Sanjo.
Just watch Philip dies again somehow. She just fucking bites it.
I don't think he's gonna kill off Philip again. I severely doubt he would.
No, dude, just to fuck with you, he's just like, oh, you guys didn't want me to bring him back? Well, he's just gonna go back in the ground.
To be fair, that's what happened to Ankh twice. That's what happened to Chase. That's what happened to.
Did that happen 3 times with Ankh? Didn't he die 3 times?
He died the show. He technically didn't die in Movie War Megamax. He
died in the
final
generation
with Build. And then the 10-year special.
Yeah.
He's died 3 fucking times, dude.
Or who was or joke about Laser coming back and then dying again. Fucking Ghost died like 3 times.
Yeah, but Ghost.
Okay, but are we really going to count Ghost though?
Yeah, Ghost's whole gimmick is dying.
Fair enough.
That's a shtick.
Did anybody die? Well, okay, technically speaking, everybody died in Build, but that's cheating.
No, Jay, they didn't die because they came back.
That's what I said. Technically, that doesn't count because everybody.
It's fucking
back.
Bullshit.
What the fuck were we talking about?
Anyways, we're not gonna kill off Teru Ryu until
we'll kill off Tokime. Don't worry.
Obviously Tokime is the only one marked for death because she's not in the show or in any of the other shows before this point, so she's expendable.
Dude, just to fuck with you, they just like kill off Santa-chan or something like that.
Oh my god, no, if they kill off any of the irregulars, I'm gonna go kill Sanjo. Especially not Watcherman. No, nothing bad.
Dude, Watcherman was all over this fucking show.
You know what?
Honestly,
Really was.
I really loved that they brought the irregulars back and they had them a recurring part. It was so good. I really loved that attention to detail.
Like, also, like, I appreciate Akiko's list of, like, oh yeah, here's all the people that know about Double's identity, and here are all the people that don't, and here are all the people that shouldn't know.
Yeah, I like that note is that Gino-san and Maki are not to be trusted with their secret identities. Do not tell them ever. I love that. I love that little detail.
Is it weird to say? Is it weird to say that Akiko was like 10 times less annoying than she was in the actual show?
Well, it is strictly because of her voice.
Yeah. Like, I think, if anything, it's probably because, one, like, first off, it's 2009. You're also, like, you're basically translating, like, a 90s anime female character into, like, a live action. Because, like, if you think about it, like, Akiko would definitely be, like, the character carrying, like, a 100-pound hammer in her, like, out of thin air and hitting a main character. In which, obviously, it's not inaccurate, especially with the slipper. But when you translate that to, like, live action, feels a little annoying. However, like, obviously, if it's anime to anime, or, like, one-to-one with anime, in this case, it feels a little more natural, and just, then again, she's also had time to mellow out anyways, because it's, I mean, how many years has it been since Double, or even in Universe? So, I mean...
not very long.
I think at minimum, it's, like, 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, at the very least, like, she also maybe matured a bit. Like, as time
I will say it's
on.
weird that Sanjo decided to give her Tiddy as well, but that's just him.
Well, it was more the artist than him, but...
I mean, let's be... Sanjo
It's
probably
definitely
slipped him. He slipped him a fucking... Look. He slipped him a fucking 100 yen note and be like, all right, you know what to do.
I would hope he paid his artist.
No, he it's like every 100 yen, he just adds like another size to the bust. It's like, here you go, bud. You know what to do.
Yeah, for every dollar, he bumps up the cup size.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, the yen is really shit right now. He's got to take what he gets.
You know what?
Yeah,
That's fair. Okay. Also, I will point out, though, I feel like this is definitely going to be a nitpick. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but Tokime's reveal of being the Joker Dopant, or having the Joker Dopant memory, what do you guys think, and, like, how do you feel about its reveal in, like, as it's introduced in the anime?
I'll be honest, I kind of like that there's a Joker Dopant, because that always bugged me that when we had the A to Z Memories movie, there were all the other Dopants aside from Joker, where you could have said that was just Shotaro, but now we have one. But then they don't go anywhere with it. So at least at this point, I don't know where they go with it in the manga, but I don't know. I don't know.
Dare I ask if they've actually paid that off yet?
First off, no, they haven't. But I guess, like, my main gripe is the fact that pretty much in the manga they had some build up to it. Here they just kind of drop it to you at the beginning of episode 10.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that. Honestly, the whole thing with it being revealed as the Joker thing, I don't know why, but it didn't really have much of an impact on me. Not even just because of no build up. I just I read that and I was just like, oh, well, I guess that's cool. I guess, but whatever.
Having already known about it before going into the show, my main gripe is that, honestly, this is going to seem like a weird complaint. It's very fan fiction-y, where you do a story that's a sequel to an established story, and you have a new character who just so happens to have a power that is connected to the original main character. Is like, that's lame sequel trope writing.
I think you hit it right on the fucking head. Exactly.
I feel that.
And you're right. In the manga, there's definitely better build up to it. And honestly, it's weird because with the way they introduce her in the first case is that she's... Oh, somebody's breaking the speed limit outside. the way they
Hi,
introduce it in the
Terry,
manga,
don't fall again.
the way they introduce her in the manga with all like the witch stuff, where she's manipulating Shadow Fuuto, and that makes it look like she has magic abilities. They do a little bit more of that in the manga, but at the same time, like, her connection to the other world is not elaborated on throughout the cases that we present. And again, to be fair, that's just with what they're adapting. But there's not a whole lot of like that could have been opportunity to introduce some more build up to it and more foreshadowing, like having her have more of a connection to memories and what's going on. Like, she kind of has like a power to like sense memory abilities and stuff.
That kind of came out of fucking nowhere, not gonna lie.
It both comes out of nowhere and then they forget about it when it would be important to. So it's not handled the best in the anime, and even in the manga, it's not particularly well done.
Do you think it's hampered? And I usually don't like to give shows, this kind of excuse. But you think it's hampered of the fact that it really is just 12 episodes? They didn't have that much fucking time.
Oh,
like, I get it. It's fine because, you still have a lot of stuff to get through. And we got through a lot from what I know. But at the same time, it's like, we just don't have time for this.
Oh, it is. It's definitely a symptom of a greater problem the show has is just that it is just very poorly paced. That is honestly like the single negative that I have that isn't like, oh, well, they changed this from the manga. Oh, well, they censored that. Blah, 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 China. I have a mini rant about that, by the way, that is relevant. That is like probably the single legitimate negative that I could say that is a detriment to the show is instead of they sort of do what the original Double did, where it's a case every 2 episodes, where the first half introduces the case and sets it up, and then, midway through Act 2, there's a break, and then the second half is the climax. Here, they've extended to each case is 3 episodes, which roughly corresponds to 7 chapters of the manga, which is a full volume's worth. Basically, every case is a full volume's worth of content in the manga. So, every 3 episodes is a volume.
You know what the problem is, though? Sorry, go for it.
I think that was a bad way to do it. I think where 7 chapters in a manga can be pretty quickly sped through. Not even speed reading it. That's like what, maybe 15 minutes or so. Even maybe adding in obvious time to extend for characters talking, there's a lot of padding in this show that is not... Even if, like, again, you can take a scene that is pretty much identical to how it would be in the original, but I think it's just because it's in animation, it's just not nearly as fast-paced, and it's definitely slower. Because with animation, in the live action, obviously, you can have the characters moving around, talking, and you don't have to obviously don't have to pay anybody extra to, show a real person moving, basically. So you can have this kind of natural flow with dialogue and action at the same time, whereas in the anime, you have dialogue and then there's action. There's not a whole lot of equal play with it. So there's a lot of unnecessary filler in scenes and a lot of it, again, is just like establishing shots, which is fine. But you have a lot of shots that drag on for too long. You have a lot of scenes that are unnecessarily long that could be trimmed down. Not even just for being unnecessary, but it's like you have an establishing shot. That's fine. But then sometimes it'll go on a little bit too long, or it's just... There's a lot of chances they could have had to condense down the material, and instead of doing that, the fuck is the opposite of condensing? Expanded. They expanded the content out, and I think that was a bad direction to do, because there's just enough content to fill 2 episodes worth, not enough to fill 3 episodes worth.
See, that's my biggest fucking issue too, because there were more than a couple of times, especially in the latter half of the season, where the case is ended. It's over. We're done. Why is there still 10 fucking minutes? Like, it happened a couple of times in the episodes where I was like, why is there still 10 minutes in the episode? Oh, it's just to wrap everything up? Why didn't we need 10 minutes for that? Just say, hey, they fucked off. They paid us. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Yeah, like, if you go, again, going back to Double, where they'll beat the criminal of the week and his memory will break, and we'll have some kind of little bit of a moral wrap-up with the villain. Or maybe something will happen where, I don't know, one of the Sonozakis shows up and starts some fuck shit or whatever. Something happens to kind of prolong it a little bit. But the battle will end, and we'll be back at the detective agency, and we'll have Shotaro recapping everything. And that's like a minute or 2 minutes worth, unless something dramatic happens. That's really all you need. But then they'll stretch out that kind of content for like 3 or 4 minutes, way longer than it has any necessary reason to be.
It feels like, honestly, a couple of times it almost felt like, okay, they're going to use this to set up a cliffhanger, or at least begin the next case, because that's what it felt like. But then they don't, and then it's like, well, then what was the point of going long? Like,
honestly, that was my biggest complaint. Like, honestly, yeah, even if they didn't like condense anything or expand anything, if they had just like, they didn't make it as hardly regimented like the original show, where they would have cases kind of bleed into the next, it wouldn't be a problem. But because they so heavily regiment the cases into that 3-episode structure, they made a major misstep with the pacing and just the overall content.
Yeah, and again, I think as is, it's not like, I'm gonna be honest, it's not fucking Ghost Sager pacing.
No, it's not like a deal breaker or anything, but it's definitely, compared to Double, the pacing difference is very noticeable, and it's definitely a detriment and not in the show's favor.
What about you, Chad?
Yeah, like, overall, I'd say, again, like, if you're gonna do, like, I think the perfect time to do, like, a 3-parter was probably the first case, or, like, the first 3 episodes, mainly. It's like, okay, let's reintroduce the worlds here, let's reintroduce these characters, let's introduce this new character, and, like, overall, and then also reintroduce the concept of Double for those who don't know. I think, personally, those first 3 episodes were fine. And then I think kind of going from there, everything else could have been like 2-episode structure. And I feel like if they did everything else 2-episode structure from there, like, we definitely could have fit in more. Maybe fit in that extra case, and also maybe that builds up to allow, like, again, to have that proper reveal that, oh, like, Tokime's Gaia memory is actually Joker, instead of actually, like, dropping it in, like, the last case of the anime, saying, like, oh yeah, by the way, she's Tokime, so, you know, that's actually kind of cool, so who saw that coming? Am I right, guys?
Whoa.
But, like, no, like, if anything, definitely, the pacing was definitely kind of weird. Some of the cases, I'm glad they kind of skipped over, but, like, again, it's like what you guys were saying, like, we did not need to have, like, a 10-minute close, like, 10 to 15-minute, like, conclusion with the characters. Or, like, I think the best way that they could have done it was with, like, the alcohol case, and where you actually introduce, like, the other members of, well, I guess, Bando's group, or basically Street, I guess, if we're gonna really go off of manga spoilers. Where you're introducing, like, Scream and
the villain
Brachiosaurus.
group name is hardly a spoiler, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
no,
can't call
that's
them
fair.
in the museum too.
Neo Museum.
Oh no,
No,
Neo
no, they're-
Museum, Papa.
No, they're not Foundation. No, these guys are Foundation Y. Since they're coming after Foundation X.
Ah.
Of course they would be.
Why
Why,
would you do
Chad?
that?
See, that's exactly why they're called Foundation Y. Because you gotta question it.
Because why are they here, motherfucker?
No, but
honestly, like I said, I think if they do a season 2, there will be ample room to fix up the pacing, because maybe I'm gonna say maybe it wasn't even their choice to do it that way. It was just, we don't know how much time we've actually got, so let's just try and squeeze everything we've got out of it. Like, let's not leave anything on the cutting room floor, even though I wish they did. I did say this to Jay, though, Chad, when we were talking earlier.
yeah.
I don't mind if they skip over cases, because I'm going to be completely honest, I have not read the manga. I I know that there's somebody actually translating the manga now on a consistent basis, not whenever they fucking feel like it.
Thank goodness.
So there is somebody translating it now. But I was telling Jay, it's one of the things where it's like, I don't miss what I've never had. So even if they're skipping cases, if I don't know that, I don't really notice it. Especially with the case that apparently we skipped was just filler. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fine with that.
Like, to be, like, honest, like, I think, like, again, my biggest gripe was, like, the reveal of the Joker Dopon memory. Because, like, if anything, like, you know how we have, like, the after credit, like, little short chibi anime that's, like, you know, it's cute. I appreciate that we have it. Like, I feel like instead of maybe having that for, like, an episode, you have, like, an after credit scene where it's, like, you have Philip tinkering around, and it's like, yo, by the way, I fixed the memory. And, like, actually have it lead in from there, and then actually, you know, properly talk about it. Because, like, in terms of, like, skipping cases, perfectly fine. Not a big deal. Like, if it's, like, non-detrimental to the, like, to, I guess, the anime, or pretty much the storytelling, then that's fine. I don't care. But, like, if you're going to, like, kind of maybe glance over something that would be typically, like, a bigger story beat, then by all means, like, why are we either downplaying this, or why are we cutting this entirely? If it's supposed to be such a big moment. Like,
honestly, that leads into my other... This is a personal big gripe against the show, but this is hardly what I would say is like, oh, this is absolutely a problem. Is that...
You know what? Well, do what I did with the Scooby-Doo review and just say, this is a quibble. It's not a gripe, it's a quibble.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
My other... oh my god, that's such a fucking weird word to say. Quibble. Quibble is a lot of the changes they made from the manga are just unnecessary. Mm-hmm. A lot, like, there's a couple different flavors where very little in terms of, like, the actual cases gets cut outright. Most of them are just kind of fillery scenes, but like, and most of those I don't miss, but like there are bits that like they cut jokes out. Like in the alcohol case, they're at a masquerade party, and Shotaro and Philip are coincidentally wearing the same masks they wore during the this Masked Singer episode. And in the manga, Shotaro makes a joke about that, and then he starts singing "Finger on the Trigger" for a little bit, which they cut completely from the manga, for the anime rather. And then there's a lot of, like, they restructure certain scenes, and then they cut jokes or they move jokes around, and they're just not as funny with the way they moved it around. Like, there's a bit in the second case, I think it was episode 6, where they make a joke about how Terui calls Akiko Chief. And in the manga, that's done at the beginning of the case when Terui gets involved. Because at that point, that was the first... we had already met Terui up to that point in the manga. Because they had also cut an earlier appearance at the end of the first case with the mushroom dude.
I remember you mentioned something like that.
Yeah, so I did mention that to AJ, but at the end of the first case in episode 3, the dude originally in the manga, he has a freak out after Shotaro's big mainly speech, and then he dives for his memory, but then Terui walks in to kick it out of his hand. Which... okay, I kind of understand why they cut, because it made the emotional speech a little more impactful for the moment, which, on one hand, I kind of like more, but on the other hand, I kind of like that the dude at that point was so lost in the sauce that he's like, I don't even care about, manly tears anymore. I just want my superpowers. Mm-hmm. So, because they cut Terui's introduction, they have to now move a joke that happened there to the end of the 6th case. But in that scene, it's on top of just like the other jokes at the jokey recap stuff like we're talking about. It's on top of other stuff that's already going on, so it just kind of gets lost, and it's not as good. And there's a lot of other stuff that they add that just feels unnecessary. A lot of the jokes they add or they change are just unnecessary. Like there's a bit where they don't really even focus on it. Like they never even really mention it. Because in the manga, and they do it in the anime, Tokime has a little book, and I think AJ talked about it a little bit earlier, actually. Akiko basically gives Tokime a guidebook of all the double 101, basically, where it's like, here, this is Double, this is his forms, blah, 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 blah. This is how this works. Here's Excel, here's his forms, blah, 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 and stuff like that. And there's a bit where, and in this one, in the anime, I kind of understand why they did it, because they made it as a delayed punchline, basically, where she's looking through the book, and she sees Akiko talk about Excel's bike mode. She's like, oh, she wrote it weird. It's like, oh, she probably just means he likes motorcycles. And then when he turns into a motorcycle, she's like, what the fuck? But it's funnier in the manga because, obviously as a fan, you already know that. So when it happens and her reaction's like, wait, what the fuck? And I didn't realize that. It's much quicker. And there's more, it's immediately straight to the punchline. But when they kind of delay it out like that in the anime, it's still a little funny, but it's not as funny as it would have been. And that's kind of my main problem, is that a lot of the changes they make to the content or the flow of things just is not really all that necessary.
See, it's kind of weird that you mention it that way, because again, I think this is one of the things where it's like, I'll never miss what I never had, because in the anime, I still thought it was it's like not laugh out loud, let's be honest, but I thought it was all right. I thought it was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I got a chuckle out of that. So like to me, not knowing that, I kind of I don't mind it. But I can definitely see why that would be an issue from manga to anime. But again, it's not like something like what Chad was mentioning, where there's more build up to the Joker dopant. Like that to me is more of a, okay, even if I haven't read the manga, that still sucks. Like that's still something that I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
A joke punchline is something I'm like, fine, I missed out on a chuckle, but at the same time, it's
those are the only moments that immediately came to mind that I could explain. There's a lot of stuff that they alter, which is not really in service of anything, and the comparison, it feels unnecessary, and it feels like a lessened product. I don't want to put it like that, in the sense of like, oh, it's inherently worse because they changed it, now it sucks, but though. It's a change for change's sake in a lot of places, and why they changed it is not entirely clear, and what they changed it with is not inherently for the better.
Yes.
Like actually, speaking of which, like the whole bike scene. To be honest, I've had friends that are non-writer actually see that scene out of context, literally on their YouTube feed, and literally after they saw that, like, if anything, I want to say it hit naturally as it was supposed to, especially like when you also have to take into account. It's like, oh yeah, no, we also have like non-fans or like first-time viewers like who don't know anything about Double seeing this as well. And granted, it was hilarious kind of seeing their reactions. Like literally, they're asking like, Chad, what the fuck are you into and what the fuck are you watching? Why does he turn into a bike? What does he eat? Does he take gas or does he eat food? Like, what are Gaia memories? What does he go to a mechanic or does he see a doctor? And like, you basically have all these questions, and obviously you're asking questions about the wrong character, frankly, because never question him.
Yeah.
But like, I think especially when you take it in within that context as well, I think some of the jokes that are and aren't there are fine. It doesn't matter, but at the same time, it would hit better if they kind of resequenced it so that way it would be a better fit, as Jay was saying.
Exactly.
But like overall, cut content and not versus non-cut or whatever wasn't cut, it's a little weird, but honestly not unforgivable.
Yeah,
that's why we call it a
pretty much
quibble.
my takeaway. Also, because I did bring it up, this is also a little bit of a gripe, but this is more just to complain about unnecessary censorship. They totally fucking nerfed Tokume's outfit halfway through the show, and I know why they did it, because I was curious, and I looked it up. So, you see how she dresses in the first episode, where she's got, like, the transparent top, except for around her breasts.
See, I can't fucking ignore it.
She basically has no sleeves, and she's I'm just going to be blunt about it. She dresses like a slut. But then halfway through the anime, they give her a completely different outfit, more or less. It's similar, but it's, relatively speaking, just different in general. And I was curious to see why they did that. I was like, I wonder what the reason for this is, because, you know, it didn't really occur to me until like 2 or 3 episodes later, and I'm seeing is like, wait, why is her outfit different? And then I look, and I'm like, I'm compared to the manga. It's like, yeah, it is different. Why'd they change it? And I looked it up, and they did it because of fucking Tencent. They did it because of fucking China again. I looked it up because Tencent has the distribution rights to the show in China, and I guess apparently they have enough of pull to sway to change that. But because that's why they changed it, is because they complained about it because she's too sexy for China. So
fuck China, it took away my titties.
Exactly. So 0 out of 10, this show bowed to China.
I know, right?
No.
No, but like, that still sucks though. Because again, up to that point, this show went pretty fucking hardcore with like, hey, there's titties. Like,
it's weird because even despite that, the show is still hardcore with the titties. Because like, you've got the alcohol case where
dude, oh my God.
There's an entire extended sequence of 2 naked chicks with giant tits in a bathroom, just like standing around naked.
The entire Idol episode, for fuck's sake.
The Idol episode was jiggle maximum.
Dude,
and then you have in the final arc where you've got and I'm surprised this didn't raise as more of a stink than it did, which was surprisingly very little at all. You've got the very small child with mind control powers trying to force Tokume to fucking strip nude, which is horror, like very, very
bueno.
Uncomfortable to sit through.
Well, see, that's the thing too, because every scene that Tokume is in, she's jiggling all around like she's made of fucking Jello.
No, exactly.
It's weird,
and not even in like, I'm gonna say this in a prudish way. She is incredibly sexualized in this series, so it's weird that they made that change specifically with her outfit, where it's a difference from the manga, and then changed absolutely nothing else. It is, I would almost say, unnecessary. Honestly, if it weren't for the fact that this was done like on all versions, on like directly sourced from broadcast even, I'm half wondering if this is something that they're gonna undo for the Blu-ray. Because again, her new outfit is relatively similar, where I could feel like they probably drew this over. But at the same time, like, there's a whole scene with her getting the new outfit, so I guess this was planned. I don't know. But it's such a weird, unnecessary change, and I know why they did it. And I'm mad. I'm mad.
Look, it's just okay. I think we should also talk about this though. We've made a ton of fucking jokes about it this entire episode, but guys, I'm being serious here. If you got a girl, make her leave the room when you're watching this, because good God fucking damn, there is titties galore in this show. I'm not talking just your regular average everyday titty. This is advanced titties. Like,
this is
the
lowest this show goes is like an E cup, and it gets bigger from there.
Oh God!
With the exception of like Akiko, who's bumped up to like a C, maybe like a B or a C.
Even she's got jiggle.
Exactly. Well, Phil, I'm surprised you weren't paying attention to all the titties.
I was kind of paying attention to the action and the story.
Okay. Well, that's the thing.
That's
the thing.
Phil.
Then again, we're glad you were able to see that at the same time. Good lord, the jiggle physics, guys. Oh my gosh.
Dude, the jiggle physics put DOA to shame, for fuck's sake. Like, this is ultra physics.
Anno would be proud. The man invented titty physics, and this is what it was invented for, is for Kamen Rider titty physics.
No, like, legitimately. Like, again, we make jokes, but there's so much fucking tits. I mean, for fuck's sake, again, to go back to the Anime Expo thing, when Tokume first comes out, the entire room full of thirsty ass motherfuckers at the same time go, shee, you know you've got some titties on your hand.
In the first episode, there's a scene where she's in the middle of a city park bathing naked, and they cut it around her titties, but we straight up see her ass naked on full display.
Sheesh.
Which I am sure that they are probably going to go full nip on the Blu-ray version. I'm not going to be surprised.
You know it, buddy.
Considering the manga was, I wouldn't be surprised.
Dude, the alcohol scene alone, like the fucking, the blonde bitch, like her death scene alone is just full titties.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. In the manga, you just straight up see her titties there poking out of the water.
That is true.
It's cold outside tonight.
It's weird because we're in a bathhouse and
Shenanigans!
It's so cold. It's weird.
Her nipples can cut through diamonds. So, titties aside, which you can't fucking ignore.
No.
I'm trying to think what else there's. You know what? Let's talk about something really positive with the show that it tickles the cockles of my heart. And I'm not talking about. I was gonna say I'm not talking about the titties. The music, the music in this show is fucking ace, and it's good because it's the same motherfucker who did it for Double. They got the same motherfucker.
It is Shuhei Noruse. Yep, and that is everything is fine in the world.
Honestly, dude, this guy deserves a beer, a handshake, and a fucking medal. Cause god damn, dude.
Again, going back to Double and listening to the soundtrack compared to this, I think Chad described it like this when we were at AX, but even the soundtrack feels like it's a sequel to Double.
Right?
Yeah.
Every song is more or less a remix of a song from the original show. And there are a lot of similar leitmotifs and elements lifted from those songs, but they end up going in slightly different directions that make them stand out on their own. Like Excel's theme, where it's got that kind of, when he's doing his transformation sequence, it's got that like, it's got that lifting tempo to it. And then when he finishes the transformation, it kind of breaks down more or less. That's where it differs, but it's got that overall vibe to it. It's got that similar motif to it, where you can tell this is Excel's theme, but where it starts to differ, you're like, oh, okay, this is a new version of the old theme. And I really loved that. All the songs are like that too, where the opening is the opening and the ending are pretty much the only like wholly new songs. And even then, they're only new in the sense that they are new songs. They're still connected because they have old singers attached.
I will say this. In terms of double openings, and I'm going to count Memory of Heroes because that basically is a double opening, I would put this opening at last. Honestly. It's not great. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's not bad, but I will say Over Again was fucking wasted on Memory of Heroes, and it should have definitely been used for this anime.
But
because
you know
that
what?
fucking...
At least, no, let's put it this way, though. At least they redeemed themselves with WGX.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that song was so fucking good that it literally made me just go like, all right, I'm done for the day. This song is fucking great. What the fuck? Like, because I didn't know that was coming. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen. And then I hear it and I'm like, oh my god, this is beautiful.
Okay, like...
I'm honestly a little disappointed that we didn't get to hear that at AX, because that would have... I think I probably would have had a heart attack listening to it live.
Everybody in that room would have came in their pants.
Probably. They probably would have.
That would be the stickiest room in all of AX, which was fitting because after that panel, they had a BDSM cosplay panel.
Honestly, yeah, it really would be, which is impressive at an anime con to be the stickiest room in the convention.
I know, right?
And especially, again, there was a literal bondage panel immediately preceding it, so
we got it started for you guys.
We warmed you up. We fluffed up the room for you.
We lubed it up nice for you. Honestly, dude, if they were able to show episode 3 at AX, it would have honestly. It's like you said. I think all three of us would have had a heart attack. But they would have had to cart us out of the fucking room.
Literally.
Holy fuck, dude. Oh my god, I would have died. But yeah, that song was fucking great. WGX is a fucking great song. And
like, honestly, I kind of wish, like, in terms of that song itself, like, specifically, I kind of wish that they didn't release it early, like, literally before the episode, like, an hour before the episode on Japanese iTunes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was kind of, like, that kind of ruined the surprise for me, is that knowing it's going to happen.
Yeah, because, like, I know that, like, a lot of Twitter especially, like, as the song dropped, they're just like, oh shit, wait, there's another version? Wait, we're getting that, like, today kind of a thing?
Let's fucking go.
And, like, obviously, like, I got this message on Instagram, like, when I woke up. It was like, dude, did you see this? Is this real? And then, like, I wake up, I see the title, and then I go to, like, Japanese iTunes, like, oh shit, it's real. And then, cue Chad noises at, like, 7 in the morning.
Chad noises.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I wish I wasn't spoiled on that, but at the same time, like, no, like, especially the moments where they do play it, or the only moment that they did play it, it was perfect.
Yeah, much as modern insert themes are cursed to be, they play it once and then never again.
It's funny you say that, and then you have something like fucking Revice that actually used what was that one song that they used like multiple times? They used one of the insert songs multiple times and then never again. Yeah, they actually used that for some fucking reason. They use that fucking song multiple times, but they don't use Volcano. They only use Volcano once.
That's because they only used the Volcano form once.
No, they didn't. They used it multiple times. Fuck you. I remember that show.
Oh, that's right. No,
fuck you, Avex.
Blizzard one only got used like twice.
Yeah, Blizzard only because Blizzard sucked
really
ass.
In
terms of music,
Blizzard did its job. It looks cool.
In terms of music, ending theme is fucking great.
Literally what I was about to say is that the ending theme is the best song.
Oh yeah.
You've got Mitsuru Matsuoka, you've got Koji Kikawa, you've got swing jazz, which is I don't think they've ever used ever in Kamen Rider. Hell, I can't recall the last time there's been a swing jazz song in like the last 10 years. And it's Mitsuru Matsuoka. What do you expect? What do you want? You know what you're gonna get with this man. What else is there to say?
The fact that they got both of them for that song, it's like it's almost a fucking miracle. And also that song is just fucking great. Like I listen to that at least once a day at this point because that's such a fucking. It's just cool. It's a cool fucking song.
It's very noir. It's very detective-y, which is honestly Double is kind of lacking that kind of noir detective vibe in a lot of its soundtrack.
That just reminds me. Well, besides that one track that everybody knows.
There's the one melancholic track that they play, which there's that, but then like a lot of the other songs are still like jazzy, but they're still a little too upbeat for the detective vibe of the show.
just a side note, I love the fact on the noir thing. I love the fact that we get to see Shotro's apartment and we get to see all of his fucking noir nerd fucking gear in there. It's fucking great.
Shotro, like all single men in their 20s, has an apartment with basically 20s. Nothing in it.
Motherfucker's in his 30s by now. He's pushing 40.
This is, it's only like a couple of years after Double. So
I mean, he was like 26 and he was like 26 in Double.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
Look
it up.
I will.
Nerd.
All right, well, I'm looking it up anyways.
They're Mick. That's the same Mick that's the Smilodon, right? Why the hell did they not bring
Phil.
him out? Why the hell would you not bring that cat the Smilodon memory? Have him go berserk on those roads!
Because it tried to kill him last time, dumbass.
Because the memory broke.
Right, I forgot.
Memory's done, dude.
Dolt.
I'm sorry, how long has it been since I've seen Double? 10 years!
I don't know, not you.
In 2014,
Exactly.
in 2024, 10 years!
Motherfucker can remember where he pissed his pants in 1972,
I wasn't even
but he
born
can't
in
remember fucking
72.
something
Don't
from
make
Double.
me that old.
I like that. I look up how old is Shotaro Hidari. Here's how old Shotaro Ishinomori is. Go fuck yourself.
How old is he? He did.
He did. He did. Wait, how old? He did. I tell you, he dead.
Yeah, once you die, your age just says dead.
No, but I can't find the age. So I'm right. So fuck you. Okay.
Fuck
Oh,
You're
okay,
wrong
okay.
because I said so.
So here's the contentious point that we have to talk about, because we haven't spoken on this for some reason up till now. What do we think of the voice actors?
Shotaro and Philip, they took some getting used to, but obviously they are nowhere similar to Kiriyama and Suda.
Philip took way more getting used to than Shotaro, I think.
I think I would agree. I think was it Hosoya is his name for Shotaro.
Yeah.
He manages to feel more natural as Shotaro very quickly, as opposed to Philip, who takes a little bit longer to kind of get into the role for me.
Yeah, it's because, I mean, we said it, again, going back to our initial thoughts from AX, he sounded very Fujo bait. He's very Fujo bait. Like, it's like he's trying to be seductive, and it's weird because Philip wasn't really trying to be seductive. He was just a twink. So,
yeah. Well, not that stopped him. I mean,
well, no, but you know what? Like, instead of it being natural, it was more like a direction, and it's weird.
It's like it felt more forced than anything, rather.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I know what you meant.
Okay, this is the one that I don't know if you all agree with it, but I didn't. I'm fine with it, and I got used to it. Terui's voice is way too fucking deep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Compared to Axel in the show, it's like this guy just went off and smoked a couple of fucking Marlboros and got to work.
Like in his natural speaking voice, the little bit extra deepness would be fine, but listening to Terui in like fights, he gets really high pitched during fights when he starts yelling and when he starts getting really emotional. And in the anime it just doesn't carry over. And he's fine as a voice actor in his delivery and his performance, but as Terui, doesn't work. No.
Well, see, that's the problem, is that I feel like the voice actor is consistently trying to keep at that lower register, so he doesn't allow himself to emote as much as I think he could. And because of that, it really makes the performance suffer. Because again, Terui's voice was not that deep. It was a bit on the lower register, but not much more than somebody like Shotaro. So him being this fucking like big man, it's like,
honestly, Terui's voice is kind of on the same timber as yours is, where it's that kind of relatively low, but once he starts kind of getting like energetic or amped up or emotional, it shoots up.
It sounds like a chipmunk. No, but you know what I mean. Like he has that fucking, again, that not too deep, but there you go, but right there register. So now him being this like hulking man, it's like, Jesus Christ, the fuck happened there?
Oh yeah.
Akiko's still fine. She's whatever.
Akiko sounds like a normal human being and not a disgusting monkey woman from Osaka. So. Listen.
Holy fuck. Jesus.
I don't hate her actress. I just hate Akiko. Listen. Akiko in the show is barely human.
We're talking about Black Sun next week. Calm down.
You're right. I can wait to be racist. No, okay. All mean jokes aside.
Oh man.
Going back to Double, Akiko is consistently as worse than I remember her being every single time I go back to Double after a long period of time.
Yeah.
And it is no less noticeable this last time I rewatched Double. So hearing Akiko, the character, come from a normal human being voice actor, it's weird. I can't accept it. I don't like her as Akiko because she sounds too normal and she's not horribly grating. That's not Akiko.
Why aren't you making me want to slap you?
Why aren't you more insufferable? Why are you more pleasing to listen to?
Stop making me like you.
Exactly.
But it's weird though, because I do agree. It's also because like, and I know she's pitching up her voice, but her voice is just naturally lower than like Akiko's actress. Because let's be honest, there are points where Akiko is speaking where it was like, my God, bats. Only bats can hear you.
Akiko's voice sounded like balloons rubbing together at a lot of points in the show.
Oh fucking hell, it did.
Yeah.
Akiko's voice in Double proper was like chewing on tinfoil.
It really was.
But I think most of the voice actors that we're replacing, because again, Tokime and everybody else, we're not going to talk about them because they're not replacing anybody. Yeah. But with these, it's like you can't avoid it. These are the replacements for Ren and Suda, because he's still trying to pretend to be a singer. And Akiko is I don't fucking know who she is, and Terui is.
Well, actually, Akiko was recently seen on Toei Lot again with the whole Girls Remix special for Revice.
Oh, that's right.
She was in that, yes, even though it wasn't technically Akiko, whatever.
Wait, what?
Well, no, no. Yes and no.
Well, so do you want to watch the Aguilera?
I'm gonna fucking forget about this. So tell me.
Okay, yeah, no. So it's not actually Akiko. It's the villain of the special posing.
It's Great Leader.
So, no, not Great Leader. It's technically Mrs. Titan.
Basically,
Miss Great Leader.
No,
it's
Black Satan. Not
Satan,
Shocker.
that's that's Sentai.
Oh no, that's strong. No, it's stronger, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're thinking of the
Red
Black
Satan.
Cross Army, which is
where's with all the Satan in the show.
Speaking of tokusatsu and incorporating horribly offensive symbolism, next week we're talking about Black Sun. Anyway, other than that, the only irregular who actually has dialogue was Washerman, and he was okay. I don't know why they didn't just get Nasubi to do him, because he's in he has one line basically. Again, the other irregulars don't talk, so I can't compare.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It felt wrong without it being Nasubi, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Look, I guess Gino talks too, and I don't even remember what the hell he sounded like in the anime.
Dude, let's be honest. They probably paid Nasubi like a fucking hang sandwich and just come in.
It's so weird too, because Gino's actor is playing himself on the Fuuto Tante stage show they're doing, but he's not in the anime, which I don't understand.
Why is there a fucking stage show?
I don't know why
there's a stage show for an anime based off a live action show. What the fuck is going on there?
You've gone full circle.
What were they thinking? Yeah. But yeah, the new voice cast, I don't care for Tokime. She's an
anime girl.
She's your stock haughty tomboy voice actress. Daisuke Ono is
not that great.
Yeah. Daisuke Ono is pretty good as Bondo, but he's
Daisuke Ono.
It's Daisuke Ono. What else can I say about him?
That man could sweet talk a fucking potato.
He could.
I mean, again, most of the new people, they're fine. That's why I didn't really want to talk about them, because it's they're not replacing anybody, so I can't really be offended if they're that bad. So
I figured it was worth bringing up at the very least.
That's fair.
Oh, also, the creepy one-eyed villain general Scream, I think, is
oh no! Don't ruin Love.
Oh my god! Not again!
Oh yeah. By the way, whatchamacallit? I'm actually surprised we also didn't know, or we didn't mention this either. Hey Phil, by the way, you know there was a Deca Ranger in this series? Yeah, she was one of the one-offs.
Phil's not the Deca Ranger mark. That's Jay. Not compared to Jay.
Oh no, I know that Jay knows this. I don't know if Phil knows this.
Who was it?
So, yeah, it was Umeko was actually the main girl in the alcohol case.
She was Kano. She was Kana.
Yes.
I like how you got her name right the first time and then fucked it up immediately.
There was.
How do you do this, Phil?
There's somebody else in the show who I was. Oh. Not in terms of voice actors, but the fucking cameo from Kamen Rider X was so good.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. That was nice.
Oh yeah.
I wish they got stronger. I wish they got Super 1 in this though.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed they didn't do any more like that. But
yeah, because like I was thinking because we had an episode literally happen on like Revice's finale, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, oh, you know what? I wonder if they'll actually like pay homage to like Revice and show like have him like just walking in the background somewhere.
But Don Brothers did that anyways, where they decided to end their show early because
really
Revice
they
ended.
did.
Dude, that was so fucking based. I'm not gonna lie.
It was
Honestly, if they went with it, if they allowed Inoue to fucking do that, I think Don Brothers would be like the best show. Bar none.
Would have been so good. No,
Phil.
okay. Let me explain the joke.
No, don't explain shit to him.
Yes.
We gotta watch Don Bros like proper.
Yeah,
True.
Let it be a surprise.
Okay. What? There was something else I wanted to comment on. Not X.
Who's the one running from the Yakuza?
No, I'm Super One. Super One. Damn it! Now I don't remember.
But yeah, basically, I kind of wish they also got more of the Tokusatsu alumni to be like to play more voices inside this show.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
I think it's just one of the things where they're gonna try. Maybe they'll try next season if there is a next season. But I think that's pretty much everything we've got to say. I think we've gone through pretty much everything. Besides like little tiny tidbits here and there, little quibbles,
or like explaining individual cases or anything like that. Yeah.
Or I guess since this is actually something that has been more or less globally like released. I guess I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this as well. Like overall, like in terms of like what do you think about the general reaction from like the fandom with this, whether they're Tokusatsu fans or non-Tokusatsu fans?
I'm glad you asked, Chad.
Do you think we'll get a season 2?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Chad, because I got a couple of pages here of notes. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine,
is this a hit list?
Yes, actually. I've already got my man George on it. Okay. So I'm going to answer the short question first. Yes, I hope this gets a season 2 because why the fuck would I want a season 2? It's fucking great.
Do you think we'll get it though, or at least anytime soon?
Maybe not soon, but I'm saying that we're going to. I got this little tingle in my tummy that says yes. I think we're going to because I feel that the reaction and the reception, at least on the Japanese side, has been amazing. I can't find many Japanese Twitter users who are into Tokusatsu who hate this. And if they do, it's like they don't like it's like us where they have like little minor quibbles. So it's I don't know. I feel like it's too well received to not. On the other hand, when you asked me about how it's being received in the West, I'm of two minds. On one hand, it is great that a lot of people are getting exposed to this, and it's great to see a lot of people get some kind of exposure to Kamen Rider that they normally never would have because it's an anime and not Tokusatsu. Because let's be honest, Tokusatsu is still going to be looked at weird. Let's be fair. Normal, even weebs are going to look at Tokusatsu and be like, these Power Rangers. It's just the way it's going to fucking be. At the same fucking time, though, I've seen way too many motherfuckers. Way too many motherfuckers be like that guy. You know, that guy that we saw the tweet of the other day who was complaining about Fuuto Pi. I've seen way too many of that. So I'm fine with more people being exposed to it, and I'm fine with the reception that I've seen so far. However, I'm also really afraid that it's either going to go to the point where it's going to be hated on just to be hated on, or it's going to become like how we were afraid of TikTok fodder. It hasn't yet. Even though there have been some. I know Chad has seen some, and I have seen some. But it hasn't become TikTok fodder yet. And I don't think it's going to, because I think it's still too niche of a product. But either way, again, that's why I said I'm of two minds. I have my smart side and my mark side. My smart side is telling me I'm afraid of what it can come from it. My mark side is saying, dude, I'm just happy Rider is being exposed in a positive way in the West, and people aren't complaining about every little fucking thing. Because I'm gonna be honest, dude, I thought we were gonna get a fucking expanded version of that chick from the AX panel who was complaining about Tokame, and we didn't. Funny enough, nobody's fucking complaining about that. No. They're just so mesmerized by the animation. They're like, fuck, I don't give a shit. Bring more titties if it means more animation like this. So to me, I think it's just there's too many positives that the negatives are outweighed to me. I'll throw it to Jay.
Well, I'll do the same order as AJ. Do I think it'll get a second season? Yes. I would assume probably starting around the same time next year, just in terms of production cycles. But I severely doubt it won't get a second season. Because, I mean, let's be real here. Amazon's got a second season and a movie.
Somehow.
Ghost is still getting content. So much other dumb bullshit is getting content that has way less of an audience. I highly doubt Fuuto Pi is going to not get a second season with how well it's been received. In terms of overall reception and with the fan base, because I know I especially was very vocally afraid of how it was going to be, where you're going to get a lot of, the dumb fucks who don't know anything about it, or who are hopping into it because it gets popular, and the secondaries who it's like, oh, this is popular, now this is everything I'm going to focus on. No, I don't actually know anything about the series. Or you get the people who are here to just complain. I've gone over it 1 billion times, and I think AJ is right where ultimately it is still too niche, and I think especially because Double itself is not available over here yet. I think because of that, it prevented it from getting as big as we expected it to, which I think has definitely helped. I have, other than people being contrarian for contrarian's sake, I have seen very little negative opinions about this show, other than, again, like what we've been saying, very few people have even been saying anything negative about the show. And even then, he wouldn't have, and it's very minor stuff about, like, what we've said. Again, basically what AJ said is, I think because it's still, relatively speaking, connected to Tokusatsu as a concept, it didn't get as big as I think we were fearing it was going to. And I'll give them points in that they at least tried to be like, this is what the original is, here's what you need to know, here's what the concept is, here's how it all started. They were trying to, like, at least give a proper explanation and not just be like, yo, it's Power Rangers, bro, it's just the same thing. They actually tried to explain what Kamen Rider is and the concept and everything to people when they first released the show. And I'm surprised they did that, and I appreciated that they did that. But ultimately, I think it still fell on deaf ears just because the show, the original Double, is not available over here, a lot of that effort kind of went to waste. So, at the end of the day, I think where the show lies is a perfect position, where for fans it did good, for newcomers to the series it did well, and it's not going to particularly grow any further beyond that.
Well, to answer the first question, I don't know if we're going to get season 2. I would like to get a season 2. I want to see where more of this is going, because it is, at the moment, very hard to find the physical copies of the manga that are not in French. And non parlez-vous français? Non parlez-vous français? But
he's speaking some kind of bullshit language.
Just get him in Japanese, bro.
The other one, yeah. So it being on a platform, I'm actually very happy that we're getting, that people are finally seeing what Kamen Rider is. Like, I know that Garo has an anime adaptation. I know that Gridman and Dynazenon are a Gridman anime universe. I'm actually very ecstatic that we're getting more Tokusatsu-based animes, or animes based off of Tokusatsu series, because now I actually can tell people who don't know what toku is and they're big anime fans, I can tell them, hey, you know, if you really want to get a better understanding of what I watch, here's an anime you should watch it, but imagine it in real life. That's what I'm talking about. Now, do I love the positivity of this? Yes, I do love the positivity of this, and I'm glad that people have positive reactions to it. To those who are nitpicking, I say, why the fuck are you even nitpicking? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. We're getting Fuuto Pi. We're getting more Double, a very fan-favorite series. We're getting more of it. Why the fuck you gotta shit in the pot? I mean, you probably have your criticism. Yes, if they're valid criticisms, that's fine. If you're just complaining about Tokime for being too overtly sexualized, then you clearly have not seen Japan. Japan is literally that. I'm going on a rant, but but to answer the question, yes, I'm happy that it's getting a big following. I'm happy that people are going to be able to watch it on a platform that's very open out there, and I would like to keep going to a degree.
I feel like I'm hopeful for season 2. I think it really depends on just certain things, like. Apparently, rumor says like Studio Kai is apparently bankrupt or some crap like that. I don't know.
Fucking hell.
Oh so yeah, I've not been hearing good things about Studio Kai lately.
Oh really? Okay, that's.
Oh yeah, was it? No, I'm thinking of Mappa. Sorry, I know Mappa got into some hot water because they're basically starving their animators and they're trying to shut down unionization and stuff like that. But I haven't heard anything good about Kai either. I remember hearing something about them going potentially bankrupt too.
Yeah, so that's kind of worrisome. I really hope we get season 2 despite that, or if not, maybe done by a different animation studio, but with the same staff, kind of ish, if kind of catch my drift. But
yeah,
I mean,
it wouldn't be the first time.
Overall, really excited if we do get season 2, because that opens up the door for more content and more forms. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Everyone knows that's kind of secret, but not secret thing. Trigger and Fang Metal.
Yeah,
be kind of cool. And then, in terms of just overall reaction with the West, though, I'd say, for Tokusatsu fans especially out here in the West, every week was like a party on Twitter. Like, seeing so many people just around the world just like, oh shit, this is a really good season, and it still continues to be good. And, I don't know, I think the general reception has been really good, especially in the West. I've been trying to shop around the show to a bunch of friends that aren't really into Rider, and all of them are unfortunately like, oh yeah, no, I'll just watch all of it once it's kind of all out, which is like fine, but at the same time, like I really hope that's all, like pretty much all the people that I'm shopping the show to, like it's all had really good like reactions to it, and like, oh yeah, no, the animation's clean, the action's really cool, like this isn't like your typical show that you get on the seasonal anime base. And I think that's really kind of what anime really needs kind of going forward from now. Is, again, more variety. That's not isekai, or a friggin' rom-com, or just a sequel of a sequel, of a sequel, of a sequel.
Isekai rom-com sequels.
Boruto's dad. But, thank you, there.
Boruto's granddad.
I guess the final thing we gotta do now is just our final thoughts on Season 1. So let's start with the man who asked the question, which is Chad.
Yeah, overall, Season 1, I really enjoyed it despite just pacing issues and also, mainly just pacing issues, actually, and also just kind of content versus cut content. And, if anything, I'm really hoping that this does get Season 2. So far, I'm actually not quite sure how this performed on, on Crunchyroll or Verve especially, mainly because I do know from what I've seen around on the internet or Twitter especially, that supposedly apparently Japan is watching the numbers on this, and considering the fact that this was, I guess, airing later than the anime, the traditional anime season, 2 or 3 weeks later, against shows like Rent-a-Girlfriend. I don't know. There were actually a few sequels that were actually airing at that time. And, basically not having more conversation about this show, while it was airing, is a little, personally, a little worrisome, but I'd say overall, like, considering that's week to week, I know that Japan was really marking out. Twitter as well was also marking out whether or not people were watching this legally or illegally. But, like, overall, I'd say please give us more. I pretty much love this show. Probably anime of the year, frankly, if we're going to be completely honest. And, yeah, no, like, if anything, I'm glad to see that for what we did get with this show, it did relatively well, and I'm only excited for more. And freaking, if we do get season 2, hopefully that means seeing some certain combinations in show that we've never seen before outside the manga. But yeah, no, that's just my opinion on Fuuto Pi.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's Jake's time.
Yeah, honestly,
he hated it.
As a fuck you. As a series overall, and a story, and just as a writer sequel, it's brilliant. It is genuinely amazing. It captures the tone, the spirit, just everything of Double, harnesses that and improves on it in a new formula where it couldn't in the live action version. As an adaptation from manga to anime, it falls flat in a lot of places. Again, there are problems with the pacing and the animation, and just in terms of content and how they handle what is and isn't included, and just overall every time the overall content is not as cleanly transferred from medium to medium. But the show itself is still solid, and the series overall is brilliant. So, if you don't have the attention span to sit down and read the manga for whatever reason, the anime is just as good.
Fail.
I enjoyed it as an anime. I don't really watch anime as much. As a continuation of Double, I think it's okay. I would have liked to have seen more of where the story goes, but that's more on the anime, the part of the anime production and the manga. I mean, it is going to be hard to tell people, oh, you should watch this, because I'm a stickler for, they're not really going to know what's going on. I would rather them watch the original series first, and then watch Fuuto Pi, because Fuuto Pi is the sequel. But I could get them to watch. I could easily say, if they see it and they're like, "What happened with the beginning's night?" And I can tell them, if you really want to know, if you want to know the story beforehand, just watch the show, watch the original show. I mean, I still get a little awkward telling people about this stuff because they don't fully understand what toku is. I have to kind of tell them that, it's basically around the same genre of Godzilla movies, when it really isn't. And I don't like using the Power Rangers example, but I at least can say now, hey, it has an anime adaptation. There are adaptations. I mean, I hope that we get a season 2, like Chad said. I really do. And yeah, I'm happy we got it. It actually made me so happy that I pre-ordered the CSM, both CSM double and axle drivers.
Phil, it's Begins night. For fuck's sake.
God damn it, I fucked it again!
For fuck's sake, mate. It's like the fourth fucking
I
time.
fucked it up again!
At this point, it's like I'm expecting you to say, like, starts day or some shit.
Begins end, right?
Oh my god!
Beginner's night.
I said begins night.
This is now easily becoming.
You're fucking with me at this point,
I said
mate.
begins night.
This is becoming beginner's night. You said begins end.
Anyways, so my final thoughts. I'm pretty much echoing the sentiment of everybody else. It's fantastic. Look, I have my quibbles. I'm gonna keep saying that because it's just a funny word to say. I have my quibbles. I have my annoyances. I have my nitpicks. Because let's be honest, this show, it's a good show. Everything about it is good. The animation is stellar. You know, there are points where it gets a bit wonky, but it's stellar. Voice acting for the most part is great. Music is fantastic. Pacing, it gets hit a lot, but at the same time, it's not anywhere near the worst that we've ever seen on the show. And let's be honest, we've reviewed fucking Ghost Ager, we've reviewed fucking Wizard, for fuck's sake. But we've reviewed some really badly paced shit in this show. This is not anywhere near close to that. And again, I think as an entire package, the show's just fun. It's a fun time. You can show it to somebody who doesn't know Double, even though, again, I'm kind of with Phil when I say I wish I would rather you watch the show, because, yeah, they explain some stuff, but you're not going to really understand the relationships between everybody if you don't watch the show. It's, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like opening the book in the epilogue. It just doesn't work. Again, there's so many things about this that I could say and I could nitpick, but I just say go watch it, guys. You know, it's too fun of a time. It's too good of a show to say not to watch it. Plus, if what Chad's saying is true, Studio Kai needs all the fucking support they can get, because Jesus Christ.
Make sure you watch it legally on accepted streaming sources like we all did, right?
I'm not even kayfabing that. I did.
I watched it on Crunchyroll.
I actually... Yep. This is actually the one time we will say this, guys. Actually, do not pirate this show.
Pirate Geeks if you want. But...
yeah. Okay. No, you can pirate Geeks if you want. Geeks is open. It's open. Open season, open game.
Yeah.
It's fair game. Much like the show itself. But anyways, yeah. Don't actually pirate this show, because if we want more content, this kind of shows Japan apparently. And, yeah, that may get us the actual season, so that way we can actually show people, maybe.
Honestly, if we get Double...
Yeah, that was a little non-subtle PSA, brought to you by Chad, who definitely does not have a gun pointed to his head by Toei Ninja, so...
honestly,
I said too much.
Honestly, if this does prove to help us get Double proper in the US, I would be so into that, because... I know a lot of people who would love Double, like who are not opposed to Tokusatsu, but you know they don't feel right torrenting stuff. So if we got Double officially in the U.S., dude, fucking hell, they would be on that shit like fucking Fat Kid in the Cake Factory. So with that being said, guys, it has been almost 2 fucking hours. Why? It's been almost 2 fucking hours.
Many such cases.
As usual.
I can only fucking dread how long fucking Black Sun is going to be. So with that also being said, next week we are talking about Black Sun. Get your pitchforks ready. I will also provide Phil's address in case anybody needs it.
My address?
So yes, we're going to be interviewing Black Sun. Yeah, fucking hell. We'll get the
I'd be down for that.
The Grand Wizard around.
I would like to meet...
So how's your ketamine addiction?
No, I would love to meet Hidetoshi Nishijima. He's a well-respected actor. He's like Keanu Reeves of Japan.
Oh, that's kind of based.
I'd like to meet Keanu Reeves of Japan.
That's kind of based.
Me too.
I would like to meet Japanese Matthew Perry, who wishes Keanu Reeves was dead.
That's right.
If anybody saw that was fucking shit.
Oh my god, what the fuck happened to Matthew
Ketamine.
Perry? Probably.
Yeah, well, you did notice that his weight fluctuated throughout Friends.
Because drugs. Anyways, again, next week we're going to be doing...
good, summer bad, drugs.
So next week we'll be doing Black Sun. God help our souls. With that being said, that's Chad.
I'm ready to go back into the Windy City again. Yeah, just let us know ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So, no, that'd be a little nice.
Take my allergy medication. That's Phil.
Bandai, where's my Fuuto Pi CSM Fang memory?
Up your ass. That's Jay.
Guys, I just need one little more hit of Gaia memory, then I'm good. I'm going to quit after that. Just one.
That's an intervention. You gotta get him the intervention again.
I'll do a dance, man. I'll do a dance for some.
All right, Chad, hold him down with the feet. I'll hold him by his arms.
I ain't got a problem,
dude, I
man.
have the egg and chicken guy memory, dude. Look, I have the egg and chicken guy memory.
I don't got a problem. I can quit whenever I want. I've quit many times.
All right, well, you guys go do that. I'm going to go screw Queen and Elizabeth.
Not even in your fucking fan fictions, buddy. Anyways, so with that being said, That's been us. Fuck off.
It's been 2 months.
And we're gonna fucking make up for it. Jesus Christ. Bye, guys!
Bye!
Later.
Woo.